And welcome back again. Thanks for tuning in to the Real Monica Adams Show. As I mentioned, if you are a St. Louis Blues fan, maybe you enjoyed watching in the 90s, early 2000s. During the time that I covered the Blues and the Rams and the Cardinals, those are some of the best days. I mean, truly, I sit down in a room of people who are Blues fans and we all share those memories. I'm not saying anything against the current state of where we are in the NHL, but I don't know, it just had a different feel. And I'm going to ask my friend if he agrees with that. Jamie Rivers. Remember that name? Jamie, thanks for coming in. Yeah, let's look at these pictures. Look, you haven't changed a bit,
Oh my
Jamie.
goodness. Look at the nice dark hair. Nice,
The nice dark hair.
nice dark hair, clean cut kid. Look at that guy right there.
What would you say to that kid right there, Jamie?
I would tell, oh man, I don't know if there's enough time in a day to give advice to that kid. No, you know what I would say, just continue to work hard. Like that's one thing that I've always prided myself on growing up the whole way is to be a hard worker, be competitive, be a good teammate.
Yeah.
And I think that those things there, they apply to all walks of life.
I was just going to say
you
that
don't have to be
carries
an
over.
athlete.
Yes, that carries over. And, I had a speaking engagement over the weekend, Jamie, and I was talking about being an athlete and why it's so important to get your kids involved in whatever it is, whether it's a sport or they're cheerleading or they're playing band or they're singing. Yes, there's a talent and hobbies and passions that are there, but it's what you're taught, the camaraderie, the teamwork, it's working together. What were the greatest things that you learned as an athlete until your career ended? And we'll talk about that in just a second.
Yeah, well, those are the things, right? Like, so you grow up as a kid and you love playing a sport, and then you're put amongst a group of other kids who most of the time you don't know them. At least where I was from in Canada, like they're all from different schools and whatnot, and you're put together on a hockey team. It just happened to be hockey. And you're forced to fall in line kind of. You have the coach who's like the boss, and then you've got the players who are your teammates and your pals and your friends and whatnot. But if your line mate doesn't do his job properly, then it affects the group. If you're not trying your hardest, it affects the group. So I think for me, like early on in life, and this is what I tell a lot of the kids who come through my hockey camps, uh, that there's valuable life skills playing sports, even at the youth level, and you work your way up because they don't know it when they're 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. But all of those skills translate to the business world,
Right.
to the work life. You have to work within a group. You have to be a good teammate. You have to listen to your boss. You have to stay dedicated to what you're doing. Like, all of those things translate later on in life, but you don't realize it when you're a kid. You're skating around out there. You're trying to score a goal and make mom and dad happy.
Exactly.
But little do you know that you're learning life skills right from that moment on. That's why I think all athletics, or any kind of a group activity, it doesn't have to be athletics. I mean, you could be in a band. If the band at middle school or high school, if you have one person not carrying their weight, well, it affects the whole sound of
Yes.
everything.
Right. And it just feels like it's out of place. And you're wondering, what in the heck? Who's not playing right here, right? And then it all looks back of, okay, we got to change some things. Again, if you're just tuning in, we're talking with Jamie Rivers, former St. Louis Blue, but you bounced around a lot in the career.
Gee, thanks for reminding me, Mike.
What years did you play for us?
So I was drafted in 1993, and I was here until 99, 2000.
Right.
And then came back again in, I believe it was 06, 07. So I call it my second tour of duty here in St. Louis. But it was great to come back again because John Davidson had called me, and I was on the back nine of my career, as they say, and we had home here in St. Louis. In fact, I'd never left St. Louis. It's crazy to think that, like, even from the first time I set foot in St. Louis, I had a home here and just kept it year after year after year after year, no matter where I went. But this time it actually worked out where I got to sign again with the Blues, so I didn't have to have 2 or 3 different houses throughout the year because, as I say, I like to spin it as I was a wanted commodity.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree
At
with
least that's
you
what
there.
I tell myself.
You just said something that I've talked about before, which is how many players do keep homes here and the drawback to St. Louis. The fans here, do you not agree, are some of the most incredible fans anywhere?
I think they're some of the most incredible people.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, and we're going to dive into a whole bunch of stuff here today. And the city of St. Louis actually saved me from a lot of depression at one point. And again, we'll dive into that later. But no, when I got here, Kelly Chase, Brendan Shanahan, Brett Hull, Curtis Joseph, like these are the names of the guys that are on the team at the time. And they were telling me, especially Brendan Shanahan at the time was like, and Kelly Chase for that matter, you're going to love it here. All they want is for you to work hard.
Yep.
Just play hard. Leave it on the ice. And whether you play well or you don't play well, they're not going to care as long as they feel like they got their money's worth by watching you play.
Very true.
And that translates into everyday life here in
Yeah.
St. Louis. And that's what I learned too, is off the ice. If you're a good person, you're good in the community, you help other people, then they're going to help you back. And, not with that expectation, of course. The expectation is just be a good person.
Isn't that life, though? I mean, this is what we ask each and every one of you on a daily basis. That's what people remember you by. There's many things that you can do in life, give to someone in life, but you're kind to them, heart-to-heart connection. They'll always remember, oh my gosh, Jamie Rivers, what a good guy. Speaking of which, so what tugs on your heart with regards to charitable aspects? Because to me, I say this, and I don't know, I haven't covered sports in a while, but it just seemed like your time, all of you guys that played during that time period, were out and about with charities nonstop. And I just don't see that as much anymore. It's not either that or it's not making the news.
Yeah, I think that what the teams do now is they focus more on one or two really big events. Like I know the Blues have their casino night. That's the Blues for Kids night. And they do a lot of charitable, massive amounts of money is raised in that. And they have a couple of things throughout the year, whereas back in the day, we were out more often.
Okay, Grandpa.
Exactly, right? I feel old saying that stuff. My kids are probably like, oh, Dad. But back in the mid to late 90s or whatnot and early 2000s, guys were out more often just kind of on their own, groups of one or two, groups of three, and you kind of did your thing. And the Blues were always fantastic of making sure that we were out in the community, raising money, helping kids, doing little hockey clinics and talking at schools, reading to kids at school. Like all of those things were, I guess that was the way, because you didn't have social media for the team to be out in the community via, Instagram or Twitter or whatever it is. So you had to be in person. So your marketing was person to person. And so if you could get, your players in front of a school of kids and talk about, the importance of teamwork or working hard, then that was your exposure and that was your marketing for that moment. But the Blues always were involved in so many charitable things. And I remember, the Head First Foundation way back when Doug Walker was running all of that stuff, and Tony Twist and I and other players and Rams players would get together and raise money, and it was great. And Kelly Chase had the Locomotives at the time. Now it's the Blues Special Hockey Program. It really is. A lot of guys put a lot of time and effort into making sure that the community here was taken care of. Because we were very thankful to be accepted the way we were.
You talked about the Gateway Locomotives. That is the very first sports-related interview I ever did was when I worked at a station down in Festus, and Kelly was at the Brentwood Ice Rink, and I went and interviewed him, and just seeing the way they looked at him, seeing the way he looked at them, that connection, amazing. Speaking of Chaser, when's the last time you spoke with him? How's he doing?
It's been a couple weeks now. I try to stay in touch with him via text message because, in true Kelly Chase fashion, he's still busy.
I know.
He's
probably doing jumping jacks every day, riding the bike.
He should probably take a day off or two. But no, you know what? Chaser's battling, man. That's one thing that the city of St. Louis and we all know about Kelly Chase is he's not giving up anytime soon.
No.
And, this has kicked his butt quite a bit, but he's still moving around, doing things. He's at events, raising money still. So he's
amazing, isn't he?
He's still kicking, man.
Energizer Bunny. Yeah. He and I have been friends for 30-something years, and I adore his spirit. And when he was traded and the tears, I remember him wearing his cowboy hat.
Oh, yeah.
Right. We will never forget that. I remember covering that story, and I was like, gosh, this man just loves this city so much. Again, if you're just tuning in, Jamie Rivers, former St. Louis Blue. You know him as a broadcaster now. We'll get into that in just a second. Let's talk about one of the guys you are closest to, and these pictures you provided me make me laugh so hard. You and Tony Twist, sum up your friendship in a couple of sentences.
Oh, wow. Crazy, idiotic, and dedicated.
Wait, what is happening on that right side?
Well, that's me and Tony. We were working out in Tony's backyard, and we both have what they call the tramp stamp tattoos on the back. So,
yes, you do.
Jamie Thurber, his fiance, thought it would be hilarious to get a picture of us doing that. And then Tony and I decided to appreciate each other's backsides.
You know what, Jamie, I've seen a picture before where it's so funny. I don't care what the sport is, but you guys slap each other on the back end, but then they have a side by side of two guys, whether it's in hockey jerseys or soccer, whatever it is, and then the same two guys wearing business suits, and they're like, "See, it just doesn't look right," but it's okay in sport.
Yeah, we're just having a good time. Twister's honestly one of the best people ever. I remember just meeting him at training camp. A funny story, actually, to start off is I didn't really know who Tony Twist was. Like, we didn't have the internet, YouTube, all this
Right.
stuff. And he played in the WHL, which is the Western Hockey League. I was in the Ontario Hockey League. So we didn't really cross-pollinate very often. And my first training camp here, we're at the old Brentwood ice rink.
Yep.
And we're doing inter-squad games. And for those people who remember inter-squad games in the early 90s, like, they got rough.
Right.
Like, you were there to prove a point and let everybody know can play with the big boys.
Right.
Well, Twister's skating around, and he kind of hits me late. And now I'm looking at this guy, and I'm like, who the hell is this guy? And I
Who do they think he is?
I kind of cross-check him. I'm like,
Uh,
honestly, like, you want to go, And he's like looking back at me. He's like, and he skates away. And I get back to the bench, and Basil McRae, who was on the team at the time, he slides down and kind of pops me in the side of the head. I'm like, the hell's your problem? He goes, hey, buddy, if you tick him off, I'm going to have to fight him. And I don't feel like doing that right now. I'm like, who is he? He's like, don't fight that guy.
Yep.
And so I'm like, okay, fine. No, after practice, true form, we'd go to the train wreck on Manchester.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Good day. Yes.
And we would have some cold sodas and some wings because, the NHL was different back then. And then I remember this guy walking through the door, and it was like, barrel chest, arms the size of my legs, basically his knuckles dragging on the ground behind him. And I was like, who the hell is that? Basil goes, that's the guy you're going to fight, idiot. I'm like, okay.
Thanks for the heads up,
Yeah.
Basil.
And then so Twister and I, just like hockey players do, we end up sitting there talking and having a couple of sodas and whatnot. And after that, we became friends. And then as teammates, we were close. We became roommates on the road. And just through life, Twister's always been there. He's one of the most dedicated guys ever. Like, he would do anything for his friends. He really would. Like, it's unbelievable. I started to tell you yesterday on the phone, like, Twister saved me from a really dark time.
We're going to go to that. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how his career ended, how abruptly it ended, what he went through at that point. And I don't know if you all knew this. So feel free, by the way, I'm going to look at some comments now while we're live. If you have to rush off to work, this is definitely what you're going to want to come back to. I understand LinkedIn and Instagram didn't fire this morning. So be sure to tell people that watch us on those platforms to watch on YouTube. That's why I tell you to subscribe on YouTube. Facebook, X, and Rumble. Those are all up for you this morning. Jamie Rivers, again, St. Louis Blues and now broadcaster. More with Jamie when we return.
Outdated and old. Can you help?
Let's take down this wall and add a support beam there.
Or just replace the furniture.
I love it.
New sofa, chaise lounge, and tables from Carroll House.
What about this bedroom?
Let's tear down this wall.
Or a new bed, dresser, and accessories.
It's like a whole new room.
Get free in-home design, fast free delivery, and free financing too. Skip the remodel. Add new furnishings from Carroll House for your new perfect room. Because you like nice things.
Welcome back again, Real Monica Adams Show. I'm your host, Monica Adams. Jamie Rivers, we are visiting with, again, I tell you, call, text, whatever you need to do. All of your friends that are St. Louis Blues fans, they're going to want to watch today. And feel free to ask any questions. A lot of you are saying, good morning, Jamie, Monica. Feel free to remember his days, or as you hear his story play out, feel free to make a comment to him and just kind of lift each other up. That's what this community is about. So you mentioned Twister, again, a great, great friend of the show. He He was on about a month or so ago. We had such an amazing time revisiting the time that I covered it for those 12 years. And it was just dipping back into memories. It was just so much fun again. So wonderful human being. But Jamie went into the break saying how he really saved you during a dark time. Was it after your your career-ending injury?
Yeah. So, as my career was coming to an end, I had opportunities to go play overseas, and you still make a pretty good living, and you can kind of carry your career on a few more years, and it's fun. You kind of get paid to go see the world. And this particular moment, I was playing in the Austrian league, but the team was based in Croatia. And so, anyways, we were enjoying it, and there was a game that we were playing, and my family was actually visiting over the holiday break. It was like the Christmas/New Year's break for the kids in school and whatnot. And we were losing a game, and of course, me and Donkey, I tell my teammate, I'm like, just let that guy go, because I was going to hit him. I'm like, I'm going to send a message here, like, get our team back into it. So sure as all heck, puck comes around, goes to a guy, and my teammate's like, okay, act like he's not there. So the guy thinks he's wide open, and I crush this guy. But at that moment, I didn't realize it. My spleen burst inside of me.
Look at this picture.
And that's the
After
aftermath.
effects.
And that was sitting in my apartment in Croatia about 3 weeks, maybe almost a month after, and it was still looking like that. So when that happened, I had no idea. And I finished the game, kept playing, and then we took a bus back to Croatia that night. And when I got back to the apartment, my family was ready to go back to St. Louis because they were going back that day. So we load up all the bags, get off to the airport, take them. And I'm feeling tired and run down, but I just finished a hockey game.
Right.
I'm not really putting more thought into it than that. Get them to the airport, get them on their way because they've got a long journey back to St. Louis. And then I went back to the apartment and I was like, oh, I'm exhausted. I'm going to take a nap. When I woke up from my nap a couple hours later, I could barely move. I was in so much pain. I had no idea what was going on. I thought, okay, maybe I just got a bad flu. Like it was the body aches, but like times 10. And so again, I tried to go back to sleep, take a nap. And we're talking, this is like 1 o'clock in the afternoon now. And the injury happened about 8 p.m. the night before. And then one of my teammates came by, was like, going to go to the store. I answered the door. He's like, oh, he goes, you look like you're dying. And I go, yeah, I don't feel good. I got something. He's like, well, why don't you call the trainer? Well, calling the trainer didn't speak English. So I'm like, I'm going to call the trainer. What's he going to do? Like sign language? Like, I don't know, or play charades? So I was like, no, I'm fine. I'll just sleep it off. We're good here. And then as time went on, it got worse and worse and worse to where I couldn't move. I was in so much pain, I couldn't move. And I finally called the trainer to come get me, to take me to the hospital. Get to the hospital, nobody speaks English.
Oh my gosh.
So now this is about 6, 7 o'clock at night. So we're almost 24 hours later at this point. Finally, they tracked down a doctor that can kind of speak some English. And he says they're going to do some imaging, do an ultrasound, whatnot. So they do that, comes back, says, well, we can't see anything. I go, what do you mean? He goes, well, there's too much fluid. I'm like, what does that mean? He goes, well, we're going to have to make a small incision and take a look with the camera. And he goes, if we can't see anything, then we're going to cut you like wide open and take a look, because you're like, we don't know what's going on in there.
Right.
So I'll fast forward through this a little bit because it is a long story. But I end up, in the wheelchair on the way to the operating room, and my then wife calls me and is like, well, where are you? I said, I'm at the hospital. She goes, why? I'm like, what's going on? I go, I don't know yet. We're trying to find out. She goes, no, but why are you at the hospital? She can't process that I'm the one that's at the hospital. She thinks I'm at their hospital to visit somebody.
Oh.
So I tell her quickly, and so now she is not all the way even home yet. I think she's in Washington. She has one more flight with the kids from Washington to St. Louis at the time. And so they're shaving me as I'm talking on the phone in the operating room in Croatia. And then, finally she just goes, well, when will I talk to you? And I go, I don't know. And then the doctor's like, you got to go. Like, hang up the phone. I'm like, I got to go. And so that's how I had to end the conversation.
Oh, how scary.
Which was not great for her.
No.
I don't believe she told the kids. I can't remember. Obviously, I wasn't on her side at that time. So then they put me under. And then I wake up and I'll never forget this. I tell this story all the time. I wake up and I can just see bright lights. Now I'm completely naked, by the way, and I'm on a steel table. And I can see bright lights and a bunch of people kind of over to the side. And then I go to get up, and then all of a sudden a sharp pain through me. I'm like, oh, I think I said a cuss word at the time. And then everybody started moving around, and then they like shoved me back down, whatnot. And I look down, and I'm still cut wide open.
Oh
at
my
this point.
gosh.
And so then they were putting me back under and like stapling me, like right there, like no anesthesia.
And you're awake on all this.
I'm awake.
Do you feel it?
Yeah, but it's like a dream almost. And I at the time I'm not really with it, so I think they're attacking me, and I'm like trying to fight back.
Oh my God.
But it's like when you're under, it's like throwing punches underwater, It's like,
Yeah.
So back under I go. I wake up. I'm in intensive care, like strapped down, like breathing tube, all sorts of stuff is going on. And I remember thinking to myself, like, what's going on here? Like, this is not good.
Right.
This is not good. Well, I healed up, time progressed, whatnot. And then, I finally got out of the hospital, like 3 weeks later. And I went down to practice because we had playoffs coming up. And so I'm like getting into the locker room. I still have stitches in me. If you saw the picture, like I still like have stuff going on. And the trainer, I remember at that time, was like trying to stop me from getting dressed. And I'm like, no, I'm getting dressed. Like, we got a playoff game in 2 days. Like, come on,
Yeah, I want to play.
And so finally then the manager comes in, who was a Canadian guy. He's like, Riv, what are you doing? I'm like, we gotta get to practice. I haven't skated in like 3 weeks or whatever. I gotta get going, He's like, no, dude. He's like, come with me. We're going back to the hospital. I'm like, well, why? He's like, come with me. Go back to the hospital. The doctor who did the surgery sitting in his office, and he's the guy who speaks a little broken English.
Right.
Well, lo and behold, what had happened was, because it was such a massive amount of time from the injury to when I finally got to surgery, I had almost bled out inside.
Gosh, Jamie.
So when they made the incision and went in there, I like flatlined because of,
that was the lights you saw.
it may be, yeah. And then I remember afterwards, I had burn marks on me because it was the paddles.
Oh.
Oh,
Wow.
all of this thing that was processing this in real time as I'm trying to figure out everything. And so basically they said, you can't play, like you're still at risk right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then following that, it was tough, came back home, and now my career, I didn't know it was over at the time. I kept trying to get jobs and teams were signing me, but then they said, well, we can't insure you.
Yeah.
So they'd have to they tear up the contract. So that was tough. Come fall the next year, I'm sitting there without a job, I don't know anything else. Like, not to sound like a fool, because I'm not, but I'd been playing hockey since I was 4 years old.
Right.
And that's all I knew.
That's all you knew.
That's all I knew. You go to high school, you do, but I didn't go to college because I was playing in the NHL. I didn't have a bunch of jobs along the way to learn a trade or to learn about computer programming and things like that. So here I am at, I think it was 34 years old, 33, 34 years old. And
feeling like you're starting all over.
well, I was.
Yeah.
And money is going quickly.
Yep.
Quickly, there's medical bills, there's expenses, there's all sorts of things. Life doesn't stop. The house payment keeps going, the car payment, but there's nothing coming in and everything going out. And so what eventually happened, unfortunately, was, a couple things. Keep it in chronological order here. Is I was still in so much pain when I got back from Croatia that, they had loaded me up with like a bunch of pain meds. Don't know what it was. Made me feel better. I thought it did anyways.
Yeah.
But your body becomes dependent on that. And so I started to become dependent on pain pills.
Yep.
And
you got addicted to them, right?
Addicted to it. And then you couple that with the depression that I was going through, the stress, the anxiety, no money, no career, no nothing. Like, you really fall into a dark place.
Sure.
And it wasn't good for a long time.
He told me he became addicted to the pain medicine. He ended up having to file bankruptcy. I mean, again, when we ask you in life to understand, when you look at someone, because now you watch him on these broadcasts and you're like, oh, he's doing great. I remember watching him, but do you know the lapse of time between him playing to you watching him and what he went through and his resilience to come back? He also went through a divorce, by the way. But then he's now with a deep love, which we're going to talk about in just a second. So we're going to take a quick break. I'll look at some comments, any questions or comments coming in. Again, if you're a Blues fan, tell your family and friends we're talking to one of their favorites, former St. Louis Blue, Jamie Rivers. We'll have more with Jamie when we return.
When you want to feel good, you work out at Crunch. You don't go here, because here feels bad. But here we help you feel good, feel strong, feel rejuvenated.
Join Crunch Fitness today.
Carroll House is now the contemporary furniture design center.
We now have the largest selection of the latest ultra-modern furniture.
Sleek European designs, unique metals, bold lacquers, plush fabrics, and retro styles.
Modern furnishings with exclusive collections only at Carroll House.
Plus free financing.
Real high.
There you go.
And if you are dealing with the hot days of summer and you are just tired of them, let's talk about Just Pools. Again, one of our many sponsors. We love them. They are on the West Outer Road in Arnold. In fact, I'm going to have to bring a water sample up to them because of all the rain that we have recently had. It's a little green in there right now, seeing a little algae. I was playing around with the pH yesterday, but I've said this many times. Look at their pool. And this is what yours should look like. Again, they're on the West Outer Road. It's so super clear. They've got 10% off right now, those Clear Result chemicals. So you want to look into those. Also, the floats, all the fun games, everything that you need for your own pool. And if you don't have one, why don't you look into talking to the folks at Just Pools and say, yeah, you know what? We've always thought about pulling the trigger. Like, what would this look like? Again, Just Pools. They're located on the West Outer Road. Give them a call today or just stop in. Tell them thank you for being a part of The Real Monica Adams Show. All right, welcome back. Again, I'm your host, Monica Adams, the show, The Real Monica Adams, and the real Jamie Rivers is in studio with us today, talking about, again, his spleen rupturing. That's where we left off as we went into the break of suddenly that ending his career at 34. And I've said this before, Jamie, it's at a point where suddenly that's taken away. And you almost, like you were just saying, you were on the table naked. You almost feel naked again, of the whole world looking at you going, well, now what are you going to do?
Well, people just automatically assume, first of all, that you're rich, right? Oh, he played all this time in the NHL.
He's a professional athlete.
Yeah,
Yep.
and what they don't realize is not every player makes a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, let me put it in perspective, because there's people that they're making 40, 50,000 a year. They'd be like, oh, you're crazy. You're right. We're
Right.
making good money.
Yeah.
But with good money comes big problems
Sure.
sometimes, especially in my situation where I got traded so much.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, I had 4 houses because
Wow.
I had been
Bounced around, yeah.
couldn't sell a house, tried to keep the house in St. Louis, had my place in Canada.
Mhm.
Like, so, oh, those are first world problems. I understand that, but the bills are still piling up.
Sure.
So, anyways, we get to the end of the career, and I don't have this massive fund of money,
Mhm.
and a lot of the money there was a lot of medical expenses. What they don't tell you publicly is when you leave the NHL, and the NHLPA is a wonderful organization while you're a player.
Yeah.
Once you're no longer in the NHL, like, it's not that they don't pick up the phone, but they can't really help you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't have health insurance because the teams who I'm playing for over in Europe, like, I'm always like, well, in season, I'm covered. I've got doctors, I've got this, I've got that. But this happened and there's no more team. I didn't have a contract.
Mhm.
And now I'm in North America. And I obviously a very big health risk.
Right.
So for me to get health, it was terrible. I
Mhm.
paid, over $100,000 in medical bills, maybe even closer to 200,000. And that's like real money. That's gone.
Sure.
And so ended up where I had to file for bankruptcy.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. That was the hardest thing I've ever done
Absolutely.
because you work your whole life to get to where you are. And we had a beautiful home, the nice yard, the white picket fence, the whole
Absolutely.
thing, right? And now that's being ripped away from you. And I'll never forget the repo guy calling me
Mm.
and saying, hey, Jamie, like he knew who I was. And he's like, hey, Jamie, I got to come get the Suburban. He's like, do you want to just meet at a parking lot somewhere so you don't get embarrassed, and all this stuff. Like he was a good dude.
Right.
So I remember driving the Suburban to a parking lot, little mall that wasn't too far. It was about a mile and a half from the house, and handing him the keys and then just walking home.
And so what's going through your head and your heart at that time?
Honestly, I didn't want to be alive anymore.
Really?
Yeah. Like I never had thoughts of like, oh, hey, I'm going to end my life. But I felt lost. I felt irrelevant. I felt just broken. And during this time, marital problems starting up. Obviously, there's a ton of stress on both of us.
Sure. And you have how many children at that time?
4.
4 children. And what were their ages at that time?
Oh, man. You're testing my math skills. They were young. McKinnon, my youngest, was probably 2 at the time. So that make the boys, let's see here if my math is correct, make the boys like 7 and Carson like 9 or 10 at the time. So it was tough. And then, I was very fortunate. My ex-wife, her mother helped us get a home.
Okay.
We couldn't buy it, nothing. But I knew and at the time, I didn't really have a job. I mean, I'm trying to scrape by and do things. And so it was, oddly enough, it was Todd Ewan one day.
Wow.
Who I was sitting in the lobby of the Hardee's Iceplex and feeling sorry for myself, because a lot was going on, a lot was wrong in my life. And he's like, hey, what's going on? And I said, I can't find a job. I can't do this. He goes, Todd Ewing goes, hey, idiot. He goes, you have a PhD. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, Huey, what are you talking about? He goes, how many guys in the history of the NHL have played as many games as you have? I'm like, I don't know. He goes, probably not many. He goes, so you have a PhD in hockey. He goes, not many people here in St. Louis have a PhD in hockey. He said, but now you got to figure out how to use it.
Wow, those are some powerful words.
It was. And I was like, he's right. Like at the time, a lot of players were active and we had some retired guys, but I'm like, nobody's really maximizing like the on-ice version.
Right.
And so I started doing on-ice lessons with kids, like 3, 4 kids at a time out there. And then that grew a little bit more. And now let's go back to Twister. So at this time, I'm just starting to kind of get my crap together. And I mean, I remember I had a $900 pickup that I was driving around in, and I was like in the change bucket to fill up with gas. It was bad. We were on food stamps at the time because couldn't afford food for our kids and whatnot. So I was at a low, but this is where it kind of starts to creep up, like go the right way. And I was at Twister's house one afternoon. He had us over. Kids are swimming in the pool, whatnot. And he just said to me, he goes, how you doing? And I'm like, I'm not good, man. Like, I'm not good. And he's like, well, what's going on? I kind of described all the things going on. And he's like, hey, why don't you come work with me? And Twister has the windshield company. Right. And the way he worded it was really, in true Twister fashion, was genius. Because we know how smart Tony is.
Brilliant.
He's brilliant, okay? He'll let you think he's the dumbest guy in the room, but he's actually the smartest guy in the room.
Yes.
And so he worded it, he goes, why don't you come work with me, not for me?
Right.
Because he knew my pride.
I know.
And all that stuff.
Yep.
And so I said, well, why? What, windshields? He's like, yeah, we'll get there. He's like, just show up at the house tomorrow. We'll drive around. I'll introduce you to some people, and we'll do some stuff. And that kind of started for me of reintegrating myself back into the city of St. Louis, meeting a lot of big trucking company people, shaking hands, kissing babies, all that stuff, starting to feel a little bit better about myself. And at the same time, I was working. I was slinging windshields like every day. And that stuff's like not for the faint of heart. And it's not like your little domestic cars. These are the big trucks. Like you're climbing up onto the engine block. You're holding a 200-pound windshield, trying to put it in and all this stuff. And Tony and I were working, 12, 13, 14-hour days. And but it created a steady little stream of income. He was paying me for this. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm starting to pay some bills.
And it gives you purpose again.
Purpose. I'm working alongside my best friend.
Absolutely.
And so the hockey stuff, I was getting up early in the morning. I was going out onto the ice and doing like 6 a.m. lessons with kids. scrambling out of there, getting in my truck, driving out to Twisters. We get in the truck, we go do windshields all day, and then go back, get on the ice at night, and do another lesson or two or coach a practice. I mean, I was busy from 6 a.m. till like 9 p.m. every day, just grinding, trying to get something going. And finally, Twister said to me, he goes, because he knew like the windshield business wasn't my future. He says, why don't we start a hockey company? And I said, what? He goes, why don't I put some money into this and, you take it over and you run it and you just pay me back the money as the company makes money. So we had talked about that, which was an incredible offer, by the way. Now, what happened parallel to that was there was another local guy. He'll remain nameless because that's kind of the way he likes to operate in the shadows. Very wealthy, successful individual. And he had approached me. He's a big hockey fan, and he's a big fan of like youth hockey. And he says, "I'd like to go into business with you." And he says, "Here, what do you have for an idea?" And I had a whole business plan in my head. I just didn't have the money to execute it.
Sure.
And so we sat through a lunch for about an hour, and at the end of it, he says, "Okay, so what does it look like for you then? Like, how much do you need to make? How much does the company need to get started? Blah 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 blah." And I was just very honest. I was like, well, here's what I need to make. And I'd like to still own 20% of the company because this is kind of my baby, but I understand you're paying me a salary. Therefore, you're going to get the lion's share of the ownership because you're not taking a draw right now.
Right.
The risk is on the investor at this point because who knows where this could end up. I knew it was going to be great. Don't worry. But so we started a company called Synergy Hockey. And, then I lo and behold, I slowly started to get away from the windshield business, but Twister's always still been an active part of my life. I mean, I tell people all the time, he saved my life. He did by being there and just quietly, doing his thing. So Synergy Hockey got going, and then things just sort of, I call it running downhill. Like things just started picking up. The company was growing at a massive rate. We were getting teams and kids, and first summer, I think it was like 200 kids that came through the program.
Oh, wow.
Now we're doing like 1,100 kids.
Oh, my gosh.
So
see, and that's the thing, when you find out what your purpose is in life, it's just this aha moment of, I did this. Now I'm supposed to be doing this. God plays a role in this and says, well, now I want you to give back. Now I want you to teach, or I want you to consult, or whatever it is. So how he got into the broadcasting side and doing amazing now, I hope you get a chance to watch him in this. We're going to go to that part of it. Again, the ups and downs in life, and then how you start thriving again. More with Jamie Rivers when we return.
Got me in the best shape of my life. I literally didn't know that I could be in shape like that. But the amount that she pours into her clients, and especially whenever you get the one-on-one training, it's mind-blowing. I mean, it was really life-changing. I learned so much about proper form, about nutrition, about just being able to invest in myself. I hired Monica to be my personal trainer, which was one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Carroll House Furniture Homes look the best because of our free design service. Our designers please your taste.
Let's reimagine your room with 50 brand name choices.
We'll create a 3D design with a 360 view for your room.
Free design services are just the beginning. Free 0% financing, fast free delivery and setup, and the guaranteed lowest prices in the country with no stipulations.
You'll get a perfect custom floor plan for your new dream room.
Carroll House Design, because you like...
All right. Well, I really, truly want to be real here. Welcome back. The show is The Real Monica Adams. So many reasons why it's called that. If you all really pay attention, you're going to watch this microphone almost land on my lap. And Jamie is so correct because that's when I take the break. I'm cranking this thing like crazy, and then it starts back up here. I'm like, I should just stand up while you're talking and applaud you.
Drawbridge, kind of.
So watch it. We'll see if we've cranked it enough and if it will stay where it is. I just like being real. Any questions or comments coming in that we need to know about? We'll check with Gabriel here in just a second. But Jamie's being so real for you. And again, I want you all to applaud him for being raw because he's telling his story, but a lot of you may see yourself in that story. So we talked about friendships, camaraderie, what you learn from being a team player and then having everything taken away and try and find your identity again. So we started to find this. When did the broadcasting side come into play?
So I had kind of dabbled a little bit throughout the years. Like once I started retiring, like Fox Sports Midwest had called me in for 2-3 times over a couple of years. Like it wasn't like steady. It wasn't like an audition. It was like a panic. We don't have anybody. This Rivers guy seems like he might know something. Let's see what it happens.
He's got a PhD after all.
PhD in hockey and BS for that part. But no, it's just oddly enough, it's so funny how life works. As the hockey company's going very well, working very hard, super appreciative. Again, we talk about the community, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like people see you doing good things for the kids and whatnot, and people will rally around you. So again, the city of St. Louis, not just Twister, the city of St. Louis helped me get back on my feet. But I digress a little bit here. The Blues, this is the famous 2018, 2019 year. Didn't know it at the time. Like now, in hindsight, okay, it ended up being obviously the greatest season ever.
What an amazing season.
But local radio station, Hubbard Radio, 101 ESPN.
Oh, yeah.
They had a midday show. It was called The Turn. Anthony Stalter, who's still one of my co-hosts to this day, and Chris Duncan, former Cardinals player, were on that. Well, Chris Duncan diagnosed with brain cancer, and he was going through a massive battle. Unfortunately, we lost Chris. But this is when he had to take time away. And so they didn't have a co-host for Anthony. They kind of had a revolving door of people that they were putting through there. And then Jeff Burton, oddly enough.
Wow. You're naming so many incredible people that are no longer with us.
Yeah, that one hits me.
Yes.
So Jeff and I had become friends probably like 1995. And Jim Campbell and I would make guest appearances on the Jeff, Trish, and Tom show.
Oh, absolutely. On The Point.
And so Jeff and I have remained friends throughout all of this stuff. And then Jeff calls me one day out of the blue. And he's like, hey, man, how you doing? And for those who don't know, Jeff Burton was part of the Rizzuto show, which is massively successful. And he had me come on the Rizzuto show a couple of times just to talk and whatnot. Had a blast. It was fun. And then out of nowhere, he calls me and says, hey, do you mind if I put your name in the hat with the bosses here to go on ESPN? He's like, they're kind of auditioning people. I think you'd be good at it. I'm like, and he's like, no, man, I think you'd be good at it. So we left the conversation and like, I just don't know, And then I get a phone call from ESPN. Like, yeah, Jeff told us to give you a call. And so I go in there for the very first time, and Anthony Stalter, who's an incredible individual, one of my best friends now, he starts off the segment. And I don't know what traditional radio is. I know who I am. That's it. And little did I know, like, traditional sports talk radio is very
correct.
Talk, I talk.
Correct.
You talk,
right.
I talk. Go to break.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's not disrespecting. That's just the way the model was.
Sure.
We know now, though, that the model has changed substantially.
And it needed to.
And in 2018, 2019, it was kind of sort of in and out of that. Well, we had the first segment, and Anthony says something, and I'm like, no, I totally disagree. I'm like, no chance, Anthony. He's like staring at me like, what is this
You're
guy
breaking the rules.
doing? And so we go through this segment. We kind of banter back and forth, and then we go to break. And I'm like, it's nothing. Like my whole career was chirping people and banter. We go to break, and Anthony goes, what you just did there? I'm like, yeah. He goes, do that again.
Genius.
He's like, yeah, let's do this. And we started this show, and it was only a 2-hour window in the middle of the day. And at the end of the very first day, Anthony says, when do they have you coming back? I go, I don't really know. He's like, okay, just keep coming back every day. He goes, until they tell you not to come back.
Oh, I love it.
He goes, are you being paid? I'm like, no, I'm not really being paid. I'm like, I'm not like an employee. I'm just volunteering my time. Like, okay, that's fine. He goes, well, just keep coming back. Who cares? And so I just kept coming back. Well, lo and behold, the Blues at the same time are ramping up. All of a sudden, they're a really good hockey team. And so now our 2-hour window becomes massively important because now I'm talking Blues hockey for a big part of it, which was great because we did talk baseball, and I played baseball growing up, but I did not know the ins and outs of baseball. So I remember calling friends of mine, Jason Isringhausen, Jim Edmonds, and hey guys, what do I need to know about baseball? So that's a whole other story we can get into of just how the evolution of my knowledge of all sports has kind of gotten to where it is. But the Blues are doing well. We're doing this radio show, and then I get a phone call from Fox Sports Midwest. Hey, listen to you on the radio, love what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. Would you want to come in and work some playoff games? Absolutely.
No. No.
This is the guy that had 75 cents for gas for his truck, and now you're going to have me come in and be paid to do talk hockey? I'm like, let's go.
Yes.
So we get down there, and it goes well, and then they just keep telling me the same thing. Just keep coming back. Keep coming back. Well, little did I know that this was going to be an epic run, and I would be doing TV until June, and radio, and hockey camps and all this. It got to be funny because I'd go on the ice in the morning for lessons, go do the radio show midday. Then I would go over and start doing hockey camps at night, team stuff, and then have my suit at the rink. And so as soon as I was done on the ice, I'd shower, put my suit on, drive downtown to the studio to do TV at night. And it just sort of became a thing. But then the Blues go on and win. Which was amazing. We got the parade and all this stuff. All of a sudden, for me, I had become very visible again, and very relevant. You know, I hate to say it because everybody's relevant.
But we get it. We understand that.
I meant more in the public eye.
Yes, correct.
And so following that, then Tommy Mattern, who's the boss over at Hubbard Radio, he said to me, he said, hey, let's go for lunch. Okay, sure, let's go for lunch. And he offered me a full-time job on the radio.
I mean, look, if you're just tuning in, you missed so much of what led up to this. But this is what happens in our lives, where you are just at such a low point that you can't even imagine digging out of that low trench that you're in. And now look at this upswing of what happens. At the time, you question why are these things taken away from me? And so much was he ends his career with this injury, and he can't return to what he knew from 4 years old to 30 years of that, right? And I've talked about this before with a lot of my friends that are professional athletes, and but it's actually anything, right? I always talk about my husband being a police officer. When you take that jersey off, when he takes the armor off, someone on a battlefield, suddenly they come back and they don't have that uniform. Suddenly I feel so lost and I don't know what to do. And there's a lot of mental health issues that happen with that. And then you have talked so much, though. It's been a beautiful thing. I've gotten so many chills, Jamie, of the amount of people that stepped in to help lift you up, and the people that told you about your value, understanding your worth, and hey, buddy, this is where you can go with this. Todd, hey, you got a PhD. Tony, come work with me. All those and the way we say things in life so that you can accept it. The shifting patterns in life, by the way. We mentioned, filed for bankruptcy, went through a divorce. Then you find Ashley. Tell me about her.
Wow. Well, the divorce, divorce is never fun. It's never fun. We have 4 kids. We had been married for over 20 years, and things they weren't good anymore. They just weren't. And I will take a lot of responsibility for that.
That's huge for you to say. I love that.
Because she went through hell when my career ended, because I was not the person that she had married. I was seeking attention from other places because I didn't feel relevant. And so she's in the grind with the kids and trying to do all that. And she was starting to work as well as a real estate agent and whatnot. And, I just admit, I stepped outside the marriage. I did. And it wasn't a physical thing. It was an emotional thing. I needed to feel good about myself again because I felt like such a piece of crap that you seek attention from other places, which is not the right thing to do. You should seek attention from the people that you're with.
Absolutely.
And then,
All right, so you sought that. Were you also at that time addicted to the painkiller still? Yeah, that's a really hard time for you then.
It was tough. And then, she had her own things that she had developed as far as coping mechanisms go. So we grew apart. We just wasn't the same anymore. More fighting than anything else. Didn't want to be around each other.
And the kids watching this?
Kids are all a part of this, which really sucked because it was just a bad time.
Sure.
But anyways, we fast forward, move on to where we get separated. I move into my own home, which was oddly enough 10 houses away from my ex-wife. But, my youngest daughter had said to me, Dad, I don't want to not go to your home. And I was like, what do you mean? She goes, well, all my friends are in this area. And if you go find a home in Chesterfield or whatever, this, that, the other, when I go to your house, I don't know anybody. I'm not going to really want to be there. And she goes, I don't want that.
Wow.
And so I actually worked alongside my ex-wife to get this house because she had sold this house to a development company, like to rent it and things like that. So I had to have her connect me with the company before it even went on the market. It's just
You've told so many stories of emasculation,
Oh,
right?
gosh.
It's very easy to go through.
Oh,
and then
gosh.
you're like, okay, I got to do this. I got to do this.
Oh, yeah. It's a
Pick
total
myself
Jerry
up.
Springer show at this point. And so anyways, I get into the house and the internet can be a wonderful thing sometimes. And I had been away from Facebook for I don't know how many years, 12 years, 13 years. Signed back onto Facebook, create an account, because I'm like, I got to get reintegrated to the world. Like, there's lots of nights now I'm all by myself because the kids are with their mother and whatnot. And I'm sitting in this house of like emptiness and felt kind of empty inside. So, let's reconnect with some friends. Connecting with friends, add this friend, hockey teammates, people in town. And as we know, the algorithm starts to pick up on when you have mutual friends with people,
right?
People you may know, add a friend. So I'm scrolling through this, and this is funny. I actually laugh at this. I'm like scrolling through, and I'm like, right back. I'm like, who the heck is that? She's a chiropractor. She's got her doctor's jacket on and whatnot, and she's looking fine. And I'm like, 20-some. How do I not know this person?
Right.
So I click on her picture, and I always tell her, I zoom in and she had the most beautiful blue eyes. And that's just like melted me. I was like, add. Shoot or shoot. You're like, add.
That's right. If you don't take the chance.
Yeah. And I won't bore you with all the rest of the story, but she was like, Jamie Rivers. She's like, accepted the friend request. And then I sent a couple of like very generic messages because I tell the story in depth, over a few beers, but she's 7 years younger than me.
Okay.
And I was trying to avoid the old creepy dude factor.
Sure.
Like, hey, baby. No.
Yeah, don't do that.
It's not going there.
No.
So I was very generic. And she's like, what is this, a bot? She's like,
There's
great
no way
to
this
connect
is
with you too,
exactly.
Jamie. So lo and behold, we finally do start to chat. And we chat on Facebook for like weeks. And I'm still so guarded at this point. I'm like, I'm not going to make phone calls. And I'm also still trying to avoid the creepy old dude, but in the process, it's so crazy. Got to know each other so well because we were, when you're writing it, you write more in depth.
Amen.
You have to read it and comprehend it. And
I've told so many people that. So relationships that form from, because there used to be people think it was taboo. What? You find somebody online, you're dating online. That's strange,
I don't know if I should say anything.
Yeah, no, but here's the deal. I think those relationships that form that way end up lasting more because all you can do is do what? Communicate. Instead of, I met you at the bar and I'm going to start dating you immediately. I don't even know anything about you.
Yeah.
This allowed you two to get to know each other. The pictures of the two of you, she's just absolutely stunning, beautiful woman, inside and out. Tell me more. I mean, obviously we can tell from the outside. Tell me who she is on the inside that is just really lighting you up because I can see it in you.
Yeah, she's amazing. When we met, it was a very tough time for me again, the divorce and whatnot. And she had been through her own separations and whatnot, and a divorce as well. And we were both we were guarded, you're like being very careful with the relationship. But it didn't take long to where because we had talked so much, I knew her, she knew me.
Right.
And then we started dating. It's just, she's such a giving person. Like, she makes me a way better person.
And your children and her all get along?
Yes.
That's huge, funny. By the way, because that doesn't always happen, right?
She has two boys as well from a previous marriage. And so when we're all together, there's 6 kids and Ashley and I, and it can be a lot sometimes. Like our dinner table at the house,
Did you have to get more slaves inside?
Just wait. I had to find I call it the Viking dinner table. If you picture a scene of Vikings that are all lined up eating this wood massive table, that's what it is. We can sit 12 people at this table.
It's like the knights have come to the table.
And we have a big meal, and it almost feels like that. People big turkey leg. See the salt. Get your elbow out of my face.
Let me take my gladiator outfit
Pretty much. Pretty much. And so, but everybody gets along. But no, Ashley's very giving. She's so smart. And she works so hard. I call her my favorite psychopath because she will not stop. She's like me. She gets up in the morning and she goes until the end of the day. And she's a giver. I'm a giver too. I always want to take care of people, my kids. I'll get this. I help you here, help you. She's the same way. So it's funny because we're both givers. And so we're both always trying to do things for each other and for other people.
Right.
So we're both kind of nonstop in that way. But she grounds me. She's super supportive. So one of the things that can be hard for a significant other in a relationship with someone like me or Tony or Chaser or whoever it is, when we go out places or we go to events, people would like to talk to us.
Correct.
They want our attention, and as they should, and we appreciate that. Again, it's very flattering when people want to talk to you, want to hear your stories, want to ask you questions. But what that does to the significant other is it almost alienates them, isolates them away because you get drug over to a certain area. Hey, come see my buddy. I'll meet my kids, and then it's the very first time I did an event with Ashley was a blues preseason thing for season ticket holders and whatnot. And of course, imagine that being a former Blue and a season ticket holder, you're being pulled in 20 different directions. And Ashley showed up looking gorgeous. I mean, I was like, whew. This is the first big event we did. I was like, damn, Jamie, you did good. Good job. You fooled her.
Oh, my God.
She must have cataracts. But so we're there and introducing her, at the time, it's my friend.
Right.
That awkward time.
Stage, yes.
And I get pulled away and whatnot. And then I'm like, oh, man, I better go back. I feel so bad. I look over. She's holding court.
Yeah.
She's got a group of people around her. She's talking, telling stories, laughing, yucking it up. And I'm like,
you felt like you had to take care of her.
No, I thought, because not that I felt like I had to take care of her, but I thought it was to be courteous to not
be
leave
by
her.
her side. Yes.
I look back. She's running for mayor back there. And so I'm like, okay, she can stay. And every event we do, no matter what it is, if she knows people or she knows absolutely nobody, she does not need her hand held. She's fine. She makes friends. She's very outgoing. So she's awesome.
You
She's
two have
awesome.
been together how long now?
It will be 4 years in August.
Awesome. I can't wait to meet her. Ashley Vogt
Yes.
for president.
Yeah, and she's actually going through a little bit of a transition here as well. Exciting times. She's a chiropractor. She's been with Logan University for 13 years. She's branching out. She's joined forces with Ozzie Smith and his Rejuvenation Center.
Oh, she and I need to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's going to be doing a lot of marketing and stuff for that, and also
Beautiful.
her own private practice. Oddly enough, we've named it Synergy Spinal and Acupuncture.
Really? Oh, that's beautiful.
And so she does
Full
sports
circle.
injuries, obviously chiropractic, acupuncture. So she's such a super smart individual, and she's so good at what she does. So I'm really excited for this new chapter for her as well.
Well, again, the chapters of life, and there's a reason why we tell people to journal, because if we read your pages, we would see the darkness, and all we would keep doing is flipping the pages to see where the light came, and it did. All right, before we wrap up, we're going to talk about where he is in broadcasting right now. Some recent changes with John Kelly, right? A lot of you, I saw all the comments of people going, "Wait a minute, he's royalty," and remember his father, and just absolutely incredible. So where is the broadcast now? How does it all look? Any questions you have, by the way, now or later, and if you watch later, just do a little hashtag replay. We'll have more with Jamie when we return.
When you want to feel good, you work out at Crunch. You don't go here, because here feels bad. But here we help you feel good. Feel strong. Feel rejuvenated.
Join Crunch Fitness today.
My house is so outdated and old. Can you help?
Let's take down this wall and add a support beam there.
Or just replace the furniture.
I love it.
New sofa, chaise lounge, and tables from Carroll House.
What about this bedroom?
Let's tear down this wall.
Or a new bed, dresser, and accessories.
It's like a whole new room.
Get free in-home design, fast free delivery, and free financing too. Skip the remodel. Add new furnishings from Carroll House for your new perfect room. Because you like nice things.
Welcome back. And again, thanks for tuning in to the Real Monica Adams Show. We love when we have our former blues players on. Just takes me back to one of my favorite times of my career, those 12 years of covering the Blues, the Rams, the Cardinals. But a lot of the friends that I have from that world were St. Louis Blues players. And again, their heart, their soul, and what they gave to St. Louis and what St. Louis gave back to them. It really was this beautiful synergy. I'm losing my comments on this, but I think Terry had weighed in and said, we're very lucky with the Blues alumni that we have here in St. Louis. I saw something from Scott earlier. I can't see his comment. This phone's no good. It's like, I got to toss that away. You also probably all, even though it is the Real Monica Adams, you all probably think, Jamie's like, they all think you're probably lying now because now the microphone's not dropping. That's because I gave it an extra crank.
Yeah, I swear, go back and watch the footage earlier, and you will see it dip up until the last segment.
You'll see me go like this and holding it for a little while, like a little baby. Okay, so how excited are you as your broadcasting career has just continued to flourish and flourish? And so some changes. It was just in the news. We talked about it last week, some changes. So John Kelly, 20 seasons?
Yeah.
So some big changes there. Talk about that.
Yeah, change is tough. Sometimes it really is because obviously the Kelly name is royalty in St. Louis. And I think that you see based on the comments from people on social media that they would agree with that. Look, I'm not in these meetings with the Blues and FanDuel and whatnot. They don't ask me my opinion. So I'm just going to stay in my lane when it comes to that.
Yep.
But I do think that, John Kelly, for me, what he meant to me was he was an amazing mentor. He was born in Ottawa. Yeah. I was born in Ottawa. We always say two Ottawa guys, but just little things that he would tell me as I got started, just kind of watch this, be careful of this, you're doing great, this is great analysis. It meant so much because this guy's a legend.
Absolutely.
He's an absolute legend, and he's an even better individual. Like, he's such a caring guy, like great dad, loves his kids so much, and his wife, Jennifer. And so it was tough to see that transition being made. And it was tough for me too, because it's, in some respects, it's a step backwards a little bit. You go from doing the in-game analysis to now, going back to the desk. And I'm not going to call it, it's not like a demotion because that would be disrespectful to the job. But, the one thing you want is to be in-game.
Right.
You want to be in-game. And, but you know what? The hockey world, the broadcasting world is ever changing. It just is. We don't really know where regional sports broadcasting is going. We don't know if it's
We don't know
streaming.
where broadcasting is going, period,
We don't know
Jamie,
if it's
right?
streaming, subscription, this, that, back to cable. Like, who knows what the ideal situation is.
For those that haven't heard, can you tell them what all the changes were?
Yeah. So John Kelly did not have his contract renewed after 20 years, which was tough for John. And then Chris Kerber and Joey Vitale, who do the radio broadcast on 101 ESPN, the Blues will now simulcast. Yeah. So what that means is that you'll have one broadcast for both radio, the audio for radio, and the audio and visual for TV. And it's an interesting concept. There are, 3-4 teams around the NHL that have tried it. I can't tell you personally if it's been successful.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
Or not, because I haven't really talked to the other broadcasting groups about it. I do know that there will be some hurdles because when you're describing a play for radio, you can take your time. You can do this because people aren't watching the visual.
Right.
So what you're saying doesn't necessarily have to match up perfectly to live TV 11. It doesn't have to match up perfectly to, what the viewer is watching. Then the flip side of that, you might be describing from a television standpoint. Look right there. You can see the puck right. Well, I can't look anywhere because I'm listening on radio. So Joey and Chris are going to have some speed bumps along the way, but they'll do a great job. And In the process, they're still trying to completely figure out what my role is going to be. I'm going back to pre and post.
Okay.
But there could be expanded opportunities as well, whether that's me still getting some in-game time if they go to a 3-man booth on a weekend game, or some on-ice demonstrations where I'm working with the players, talking about certain skills and what they work on, or some telestrator segments and things like that. So, the role is going to be kind of ever evolving for me, but it is nice to still be a part of the broadcast.
Right. And I know you're very thankful for that. Also, Chris Pronger's role is being lifted up a bit.
Yeah, Prongs is going to bring that sharp wit to the air. It's going to be fun. I think there's going to be some nights where it's really enjoyable. My vision for it, and I don't know, I haven't really cleared it with the FanDuel people, so this should be interesting.
Ready, FanDuel?
Yeah, my vision is, kind of like my radio show on 101 ESPN, which is 2 to 6 every day, the Fast Lane. Tune in. We treat it like we're 3-4 guys at the end of the bar who maybe have a buzz a little bit, and we're talking sports.
Do you want to know why it works? Because you're being real.
Yeah.
And the more we have that, the better. There you go. Yes, please listen to that. But I do think it's going to be interesting. When I told my husband that simulcast, he literally stopped. He goes, wait, don't continue to read the rest of the article. Did you just say simulcast? Okay, that's going to be interesting. And I was like, yeah. And then why am I blanking on her name? That was with Bernie.
Alexa Dat.
Yeah, and so she's out too, right?
She's Cardinals only now. And
so there's no female presence.
No, there isn't.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, again, that's a tough one. That's a tough one for me to answer because I'm not part of the corporate side of it. I know Alexa worked really hard. I know she loved her job. But, you look at it in several ways. As John Kelly, after 20 years, loses his job. Yeah. Alexa Dat, you lose your female presence. Right. But, Andy Strickland is going to be elevated in the broadcast. And, Andy's been doing a good job for a really long time.
I got to tell you, I am so proud of Andy because Andy was an intern when I was up in the press box in my years of radio. And I just remember him starting out, but he was so eager, so intelligent, so kind. We talked again at the very beginning of this show and the importance of just being a kind human being. And when I started to see the evolution of his career, I was so proud of him. So I'm excited for all of your roles to get elevated. Again, John Kelly, his father, Dan, royalty from a broadcasting standpoint. Alexa, she'll bounce back, just like we talk about. So God must have a greater plan for her.
She's still doing the Cardinals, right? And she does a phenomenal job with that. So for Alexa, it's going to be trying to, find more work, and maybe she does a little more work back with MLB Network. She was there before. I don't know. I know that she's a really intelligent woman and driven, so she'll figure it out. As far as the broadcast, and with Andy joining the broadcast too. And I was kind of getting into this, is like Prongs and I have known each other since we were 15 years old.
Wow.
And we've known Andy a long time, and we all like to kind of chirp each other.
Yeah.
Razz each other. And so with Scott Warman, Scott loves to have a good time too. So again, my vision is to have a very relaxed desk to where we're going to talk hockey, but it's not going to be the traditional video talk. For me, it's going to be like me and Prongs bantering back and forth over a play. What we see, what we don't see, what we like, what we don't like. Maybe, chirping each other a little bit. Like something that when you sit down, you're like, okay, this is entertaining. Like I'm learning about hockey, but these guys are funny.
Right, and that's what you want. Well, and I also think it brings in a whole different audience, right? You've got the audience who are all about the stats. Oh, I know this. I remember this from 20 years ago. Okay, fill that. Then all these other people that maybe never used to listen or watch, they're like, oh, I like these guys. Oh, I want to come back for more.
So the way I look at it, and this is just me, again, I could be 100% wrong, but so far in my judgment of these situations, I've been right. So I'm lucky so far. But people have phones. They have iPads. They have computers.
It just rang.
Yeah, it just rang. That's a fine, by the way. Okay.
Didn't turn the ringer off.
That's a fine. Put it in the fine jar. But they have access to all the stats. They don't need me to tell them about a face-off percentage.
No.
They just go, here we go, face-off percentage.
Right.
So it's redundant almost for me to be like the stats guy. People, in my opinion, in this market, they want to be educated about the game. And show me something I don't know. Tell me something I haven't seen. Because now when I watch the game, I can see it. And now I'm learning about the game. And then when I see it, I know what it is because you guys talked about it. So teach me the game and entertain me.
Yep.
That's the bottom line.
And so there was so many years ago, Chase and I sat down. This was before anything that we've seen with the evolution of streaming, et cetera. This was back in cable days. And he and I had the idea of him being the one that will give us the behind the scenes of all of you guys from a personal level. And then I was going to be the broadcasting side of it, right? And he's like, I think this is going to be amazing because people will have you come in. They would be like, Jamie, come on into my home, Monica, and let's sit down and like we're doing right now. Let's find out who he really is. Because if people watch these athletes, whatever the sport may be, and then they're like, oh gosh, this guy's really, really good, or this girl's really good. Oh, now I know a little bit more about him. I want a little bit more. I want to know a little bit more. That's the real side of life. And I think that's the entertainment side
100%.
people looking for.
If you can entertain people, they're more engaged.
Yeah.
It's the bottom line. And then while they're engaged, if you can teach them something that they can take home with them, that's next time they're tuning in again. Next time, instead of going to the bathroom or grabbing a snack at the end, like, hang on, we got to watch the first segment because I want to hear what they say about this play or this player or what happened here or why it happened.
Right.
You give them that, you throw in a few laughs, a couple of serious maybe debates back and forth.
They're coming back for more.
I think they are.
I know they are. Well, just as I told Tony, you're welcome back anytime. What I really would love to do, which we've done in past, is this whole roundtable where all the guys are up, or maybe we are here at Adventure Unknown. We get you guys up on stage and we have a live audience and you get a chance to actually interact with them. Well, one final break, and then I want to talk about the barbecue sauce, which just launched, by the way. For those of you that love to barbecue, if you don't have this, you're going to want it. More with Jamie Rivers when we return.
Welcome to the mobile Monica version of the Real Monica Adams Show at my favorite restaurant. There's something about a coffee house that's just very warm and welcoming.
Gives you that sense of community.
What are you most proud of since you've opened it?
I cry easily. I'm thankful for everybody here.
You opened the door during the middle of the pandemic. You got the best Italian restaurant in the United States. Here in St. Louis, you put us on the map. Does it scare you? You go through fear?
Terrifying.
So how do you get past the fear?
We find something to laugh about.
And welcome back again. Thanks for tuning in to the Real Monica Adams Show. Again, we're at the end of the show. So if you missed this, be sure to go back, watch it all of yourself, and then also share this with your family, your friends, your followers. If they're big blues fans, they're going to want to hear the story of maybe one of their favorite players that they used to watch with the St. Louis Blues. And again, watch them now. So a lot of good comments coming in. Terry earlier, I thought it was Terry's comment. That was Scott's comment about, appreciating the alumni. Terry said, thank you, Jamie, for sharing your personal life. Thankful for you and your voice of hope and focus on surviving and reaching new goals. Great interview. Thank you, Terry. She said it's been a minute and I just want to say hi because I think she just recently moved out of St. Louis, but she'll probably come back because, as Jamie said, somehow you're always tied back here. Exactly. So we're going to do our devotional at the end of the show in just a second, but a couple things we want to mention. One, the barbecue sauce that just launched, a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
Bare Knuckles.
Bare Knuckle barbecue sauce. Two Men in a Garden are working with us on that. Jamie Thurber and Corey had come to myself, Cam Jansen, Reed Lowe, Jim Campbell, and Tony Twist with this idea, and we loved it. I mean, how often do you have a barbecue sauce?
Exactly.
It's kind of cool. And
what is yours called?
Black Eye Bourbon.
Black Eye Bourbon.
So I'm a bourbon guy.
Okay.
I like bourbon, and so they found a way to roll that all together. I really like it too.
Good. That's a good thing. That you're putting your name behind it.
No, they did a great job. It's a little bit of a sweeter barbecue sauce, but we had pulled pork sandwiches the other night at the Chateau Rivers, and everybody was loading up with the Black Eye Bourbon. Like, oh, this is actually good, Dad. So it's been a hit, and we're looking to expand it even more. We're going to have some fun with it and sell some bottles, but we're looking to expand it even more all the time, kind of grow this a little bit. So like a weird little side business thing, but
I love it.
It's fun. And I get to do with a bunch of morons that I love to death.
Who has the spicy one? Is that Twisters?
Cam Jansen.
Oh, Cam's. It's spicy. Okay.
Cam's is spicy, and Cam and Tony are sweaters, as you know. A Twister will go through 7 T-shirts in an interview, and so will Cam. And So Cam's eating the spices, like you just see it's like beating, like he's in the interrogation room. And Twister's
Get the
actually,
bright light off me.
Twister's got one of those like Carolina
Carolina, that's right.
A little
that's
more
right.
mustard in
Yes.
it, whatever, a little like yellowy. So
where can people buy it?
then get online, 2 Men in a Garden and .com. Go there, check it out. You can take a look at all of them, whatnot, and kind of pick your favorite or buy them all and see which
we
ones you
happen
like.
to have one right here. Should I try it?
Absolutely.
Should I do a little taste test and not get it all over my... I got to do a cooking show in a little bit, so I hope I don't get
I've
it all
watched you work that microphone. You might need help. Would you like some help, Monica?
I got it. Or is it covered up here?
Oh, yeah, safety first.
Let's see.
on.
I got to get it. Oh, my goodness. Okay.
Uh-oh, here it
hold
is.
on.
Make sure we're videoing this. I mean, I know we're on YouTube, but this is
real.
This is
golden.
Right here.
All right, this is his, by the way. This is, and so we do need to go out. You and Ashley and me and Jim need to go out because he's a big bourbon fan.
Oh,
also.
awesome.
All right?
There we go.
And our mutual friends, which I didn't know you were friends. Hello to Steve and Kathy Strick. They call their home Chateau de Strick.
Chateau
right?
de Strick, yeah.
Okay, well, I just licked it off my finger, so it is finger licking bare knuckle good. All right, here we go. Ready?
Oh, boy.
Gabriel's excited.
We're doing shooters.
Oh, that's very good. Way to go.
Little
2
bit
Men
on
in
the
a Garden.
sweet side.
It does have a little sweetness to it. I can see that on some really good ribs, though.
Sweet, just like me.
Oh, here we go.
There's
Oh
your
my
promo.
God. He can't fit his head out the door.
Oh, that's something Ashley would tell me.
That's very good. Yes, it does have a sweetness to it. So I would like to mix this, which a lot of people will do, mix this with other barbecue sauces and kind of put their own little spin on it.
Absolutely.
I would put this with Cam's and have that sweet and spicy taste.
Yeah, and they're all
Bare
different.
Knuckle Barbecue. So online, bareknucklebarbecue.com?
No, it's actually 2 Men in a Garden.
2meningarden.com?
Yeah.
Okay, so look for that. And a lot of people came out when they did the debut and they signed autographs and took pictures. If you didn't get a chance to go to that, you can now get it on your own. Before we wrap up, let's talk about some other things that you're wanting to do in the future.
Yeah, so moving forward, I'm a big believer in business overall, small business, even large corporations, teamwork. And so something that has always been a passion of mine, two things. One is I'd like to continue telling my story to people, and because everybody goes through hard times, and it's not just the guy, John in the mailroom. It's everybody, all walks of life. So, I'm starting a branding company. It's actually kind of on the way right now. We're just building it up right now, but it's where I'll make public appearances and do talks, motivational talks, show up at events, help raise money for different charities. And then your standard kind of marketing stuff, whether it's pictures, commercials, voiceovers, things like that. I want to represent brands in St. Louis that I believe in.
No, I love that.
And so
he and I talked about that, and it has to make sense.
Yeah,
You're not just going to be like, oh, here comes some money and I'm just going to put my name behind it, because that would ruin you.
And right now, credibility is huge.
Yes.
And so for me, it's like if somebody has a local company and they want some help getting the word out there, or a YouTube video or social media post or whatever it is, they can reach out to me. And
what's the easiest way to reach out?
The best is email for me. And it's generic email. It's just coachrivers2, the number 2, @gmail.com.
Okay.
And then, for me, I'll evaluate the situation. And I know that sounds maybe a little uppity.
No,
I'm
it
not
doesn't.
sure. But I want to make sure that what I'm representing is, part of me too.
That's called integrity.
Yeah.
No, really. I mean, he and I both talked about this, and we said it yesterday, that if somebody just said, here, I'm going to give you $1 million, and it completely is the opposite of who you are, no one would ever believe you again if you put your name behind that.
No, you can't. That's the one thing too, is so this whole show, going back to where I was, where there was nothing, and building up what I've done now, it's been on the tails of being honest, being a good person, having good integrity and values and things like that. So to not do that or continue down that path would be just silliness.
It would.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it because I love the people of St. Louis. I talked about earlier just how much they helped me. I want to help other people too. I want to help businesses, or even if they just want to have me come by and tell stories at a banquet or whatever, or yuck it up a little bit. I'm all for it, because all I consider all that is team building in different ways, whether it's financially or just the morale of the group.
I love it. Again, shoot him an email, coachrivers2 @gmail.com. All right, I'm going to let you choose. So I always want to know what the guest is feeling, and this is for you as well as all of your community. So these are 100 Days to Freedom books.
Okay.
Breaking people from shame, which our guest picked yesterday, fear and anxiety, overeating, anger, or depression. Which one are you feeling?
Oh, what was the first one? Shame?
Shame.
No, not feeling that.
Fear and anxiety.
I think fear and anxiety.
Okay.
I know everything, just talking about the new business I'm starting, the new gig with the TV station, we just bought a house, like all of this stuff, there's always an element of fear, and with that comes anxiety.
And then you find your way out of it.
Yeah.
Right? It's the freedom out of it. Jamie, thank you so very much. And again, for all of you, if you want to ask him a question, coachrivers2@gmail.com. Help him along with the brand aspect of it. Thank him for his years as a player and now broadcaster. Again, you can do that when you watch a little bit later if you didn't get a chance to talk live. All right, let's do this, and we'll tell you what's coming up tomorrow. Speaking of branding, we've got a brand new sponsor that we're going to announce tomorrow morning. I'm excited. I'm going to tease you just a little bit here in just a second. Okay, this one's peace. So we only have 27 more days before we finish this book, so you can feel that a lot of people pick the fear and anxiety one. Peace. I have told you all this so that you may have peace in me. Here on earth you will have many trials and sorrows, but take heart because I have overcome the world. This is John 16, by the way, verse 33. So in this passage, Jesus is speaking directly to the disciples as he's preparing them for his departure from their presence. You may need to hear this message today. Perhaps you're feeling afraid of what the day will bring, or you may be unsure of a decision that you need to make. It's interesting that Jesus doesn't say we will not experience fear and anxiety. What he promises is that he has overcome anything in this world that may bring it into our lives. In the midst of your fear, ask the Lord to bring peace to your heart and mind. No matter what you're facing today, he's able to provide the peace that will allow you to move through that challenge with more confidence. It doesn't guarantee that you won't experience strong feelings of fear. It just means that you're not alone. As long as you live there will be some challenges. You will go through challenges. Just deal with that. That doesn't mean that you'll be alone, though, in whatever trial comes your way. It doesn't mean you somehow aren't good enough to prevent it from happening. It means that none of us are living in the garden as we were designed to. And sin will have its effect on our world through disease, through struggles. We talked about relationship issues, so much more in life. We can overcome through the power of Christ and his resurrection at work in our own lives. And that peace comes from Christ no matter what you're facing today. Joyce Meyer actually said, many times Christians face trials and suffering simply because we live in a world full of sin. So here's your prayer, folks. Lord Jesus, I'm in need of your peace today. Help me as I move in your power to deal with the issues I face, knowing you are over all of them. Help me to live in this world knowing you are always present with me for your glory. Amen to that. Trying to break you through the fear and the anxiety. Giving you a little faith at the end of the show. Well, again, thank you to Jamie Rivers, and thank you again to all of you for tuning in. So I always say when the words hot tub comes out, people many times think of a luxury side. I have forever in my personal training, as well as being an athlete, you could agree, I'm sure, on this, that it is therapeutic, right? When we've got injury, we have trauma to the body, there's contrast therapy. We do things that may be on the hot side, and now it's all about people loving to get into the cold plunging aspect. Maybe they don't love it in the beginning, but I remember at
You'll learn to love it.
I remember at 15 having an injury and my soccer coach going, let's get into the ice bath, right? So we could have a whole nother show about all of this. Tomorrow, though, our brand new sponsor is in that realm. That's my only tease I'm going to do, because I'm going to introduce you to her tomorrow. She's dealing with fibromyalgia, lupus. Her father has different forms of dementia. They're going to talk about how that's helped their lives. And for all of you, if you've never thought about how contrast therapy can help you, you're going to want to tune in tomorrow. I'm going to introduce you to our new sponsor. Her name is Angie. I'm not going to tell you the name of the company until tomorrow morning. Yes, I can't wait to introduce you to her. So, by the way, if you are interested in sponsoring the show and aligning our brands and our missions, shoot me an email at info@therealmonicaadams.com. Let's lock arms and change the world together. Folks, thank you so much. Remember, there are ups and downs in life. There are challenges. In fact, I always say that the greatest rewards in life come from that uncomfortable walk, and then watch what God has planned for you. Be anything you want to be, but before you're anything, be kind. God bless you.